Alright guys, so I'm looking for some positives out of the election, even if it was a disaster for Democrats. And while it was a terrible, terrible election for the Democrats, there's no getting away from it. It was arguably a good election for civil rights, although granted that's easy after the Dobbs decision. We'll get to that in another video, but this video I'm going to make about marijuana basically, and legalized marijuana. 5 states had ballot measures to legalize marijuana for recreation and medical use. Nebraska, as you can see below, voted yes, but they had to fight through a bullshit legal case. There was a referendum that got overturned because of the wording, if you can believe that. And then now they've finally decisively voted in favour of legalised medical marijuana. As you can see there, 95% of the votes in, yes is quite clearly going to win. On Initiative 438, establish a medical cannabis commission, again, 95% of votes in, margin, yes. So good news for the people in Nebraska. Take that win for what it's worth. As we scroll down here, we got Florida, Amendment 3, legalised marijuana. No, with 95% of the votes in. But something unbelievable happened there. You could probably see at the bottom of the page. I'll explain just in a moment why that is absolute bullshit, and why American democracy can sometimes be a bit of a piss take, as we say in the UK. As I'm making this video, North Dakota and South Dakota, Measure 5, Measure 29, both to legalize marijuana for recreational use. Those are heading towards no, unfortunately. So we got a weird one here, actually, that has nothing to do with cannabis legalization, but it's still interesting. Massachusetts, question 4, legalize psychedelic substances. Margin no, with 91% in. I don't know what the breakdown of that vote is. We'll be taking a closer look at it, though, because I think if Massachusetts had passed this, it would be the only state besides, I think, Oregon, don't hold me to that, that would legalize basically shrooms, LSD. That would have been really interesting to see. There's a lot of interesting research being done into psychedelics and whether or not they have medical uses. But even if they don't, the fact that they're completely illegal, that people can go to jail for years and years just for picking mushrooms out of the ground, is just a ridiculous justice system, and I'm glad that at least it's being questioned. That's not the result people who believe in civil rights would want to see from Massachusetts, especially since Massachusetts is a pretty liberal state. Pretty disappointing result to see. But there is a silver lining in that at least people are starting to talk about this stuff. Because for years and years, marijuana has been the only drug which is illegal, that people were willing to discuss and say, well, hang on a minute here. Is it really justified that we throw people in prison for smoking a little bit of weed? Now, that question has been expanded out to all drugs, And Washington, I believe it was Washington, that decriminalized drug use entirely in certain areas. That experiment didn't go well. There's no getting around it. You can't ignore it. It did not go well. But at least we're seeing questions being asked about drug policy, not just marijuana policy. So, again, take that one for what it's worth. As we scroll down here towards the end of the article, you've got a specific breakdown for the legalization of marijuana in Florida. Florida's Amendment 3. Now, the reason for that is because Florida works on this ridiculous system where amendments have to reach a threshold of 60% in order to pass. So despite the fact here that Florida's citizens have spoken clearly in favor of the legalization of marijuana, it says this amendment would allow adults aged 21 and over to buy, possess, and use marijuana. It passed for all intents and purposes. You see there, 5 million votes. But because those 5 million votes didn't reach the 60% threshold, the no vote gets the win. What is going on there? It was 2024 and we still have this stupid systems of deciding the civil rights of literally millions of people. Whatever happened to one citizen, one vote? Or may the best argument win? What is with these thresholds? I understand thresholds in terms of things like when parts of nation states break off to form a new nation state, like say for instance like Kosovo or something. I think they had a 60% threshold. It was either Kosovo, one of those Yugoslavian countries. I can understand that, right? Because that is an enormous decision. But we're talking about marijuana here. We're not talking about fucking separatism or a constitutional amendment to the federal constitution. We're talking about an amendment that covers basically the right to smoke weed. You know, it's not a major issue. This is not a voting rights issue. It's not a firearms issue. Even that, I think, is questionable for having a 60% threshold. But yeah, this threshold is a thing in Florida, and they didn't meet it. It was stupid law, but it was only a matter of time. That basically means that marijuana activists have won the argument in Florida, clearly. The electorate is with them. So, yeah, don't get dispirited if you're a weed smoker in Florida. We'll eventually be able to get your civil rights. And, yeah, that's pretty much it from this article. This election did suck. There's just no two ways about it. If you're a Democrat, you did not have a good night. But, we're winning the argument. We're winning the argument on lots of different things. And even in the case, like I said, of Massachusetts legalizing psychedelic substances, the fact is the question is being asked. The question is being asked, which means we have an opportunity to win hearts and minds on this issue and finally stop filling up America's industrial prison complex with people who are just picking mushrooms and smoking plants. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it will come to an end sooner or later. I'm absolutely certain of it. So like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to get more of my videos, click the bell to get a notification every time I upload a new video. And yeah, it is what it is. Congratulations to the people in Nebraska. At least you'll be able to blaze your way through a Trump administration, Alright, bye.